So to recap, I found out that I was a god on June the 13th, 2013. I realised that I was Eve in my past life on August the 13th, 2013. October the 10th, I realised that I was Aaliyah. She was the second me and I'm the third me. After that, I watched all the Buffy episodes, all the Angel episodes, all the Charmed episodes, all the Sabrina episodes, and I noticed a strong connection with all of the episodes, most of them. And I've gone through most of the Angel and Buffy episodes and the connections that I saw. I explained them in the last 2 episodes of this series. And then afterwards, I realised, okay, well, there's also connections with Disney films, there's connections in the Bible, and there's also connections in just most films. Most of my favourite films seem to have the same sort of theme in it. I saw these connections around 2013. In this part, I'm going to go through many of the films that I watched, and I'm going to explain the connections that I found. I didn't make a video at the time about this because I really believe that these people knew and they were about to help me. I was seeing all the songs being created about the goddess, and there was also trailers about new movies coming out that are also about the goddess, like Lucy and Jupiter, the rise of the female goddess. I had noticed that there's millions of connections in films that suggest that the films are prophesying a female messiah. I was convinced that a huge number of people knew and that they were going to come to me soon and everything was going to be fine. I thought they were just preparing for the big event where the news is exposed to the whole world. You really need proper editors to explain it fully. And for the world to understand too, proper documentaries need to be made about this, and I thought that they were going to help me, and I thought all I needed to do was just join with them and make these documentaries, and then the world could find out too. But that never happened because no one was on my side and no one was actually going to help me. Because this is 3.5 years later, it's now 2016, I'm going to go through the connections in this video. The first one I need to talk about is Queen of the Damned. I choose this one as my first one just because Aaliyah's in it. Aaliyah's my past life. And this film is all about an ancient queen goddess who comes back to life.
A presence so powerful, it has awakened an ancient evil. Queen of the Damned.
She takes pleasure in only one thing: destroying life.
Human and immortal alike.
Let her come.
She's me. She was Aaliyah Huxton, and she died, and then she was reborn on the 3rd day, which is a prophecy of Christ, that Christ would die and rise again. The thing what they didn't say is that she'll have to go through 3.5 years of being extremely persecuted. The connections that I'm going to show in this video were all done by films that were made before they knew who I was. So I can't blame them. But over the last few years, a lot of films have been made that kind of are about me, and there's subtle things in it that hint that they know what's going on with me. There's lots of adverts, there's tons of music videos, there's a large handful of films, and lots of new TV series about the rise of the goddess. They've also done award shows that have 666 on the stage, or performances where singers dress up as some sort of sacrifice on a stage. They're posing as me. All this has just left me feeling like an outcast, like they're doing things about me behind my back, only they're not working with me or consulting with me or trying to help me. And so it's just really horrible because I believe that thousands of people know that I'm a god and I've got evidence of this, only I can't tell anyone because no one believes me. So I just feel like everyone thinks that I'm crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy because every day I wake up and can't understand why they're not coming to me and talking to me about this. The point that I'm trying to make is all this has left me feeling really hurt and angry, and I feel like the character that's being portrayed in this film, the evil queen that just seeks revenge and hates everyone.
She takes pleasure in only one thing: destroying life.
Human and immortal alike.
Let her come.
Because it feels like everyone has turned their back on me. Everyone has refused to help me. The Christians wouldn't help me because I'm Babylon the Great, and they think that I'm a whore. Their Bible also teaches that I deserve the punishment that I get. That's how nice these people are. Zilch.
This is but a taste of what we shall share, my love. My king, behold our kingdom.
Kingdom of corpses. This is why you were risen.
They believe in nothing. Now they are possessed.
You can't see it in the image, but there's basically lots of dead bodies everywhere. He's complaining because I don't think he wants to kill humans, but she's like, well, these people are dead inside, and this is how I feel. This is how I feel towards most religious people. They're not able to understand real power. To them, power is a guy that can walk on water. I mean, come on, that's nothing. They don't worship God. They worship an imaginary human that doesn't exist. Most religious people who say they believe in God, they don't believe in God. They're just saying that so they can fit into the crowd. Or they go to church just so they have a better chance of getting into heaven. They don't care about Jesus. They don't want to get to know the truth. They wouldn't care if Christ is actually a female. They just want to believe what their preachers believe. They're like sheep.
You and I will change all that. We will give the world something to believe in again. Now come with us. We have a score to settle.
But basically, the mother and the father are the real Christ, they're the real reason why humans exist on Earth. Humans are made in our image, we're not all good, all loving, all merciful, all gracious, because humans aren't like that. You're made in our image. I might insult you, but at the same time, I probably share some of your good and bad qualities. You're not perfect and you're made in our image, so we're not perfect either. But your view on what God is completely false and inaccurate. And Elia and Anna are going to put things straight, give people the truth about what we're like. And Elia and Lestat are posing as like the real mother and father. And that's what they are in this film.
Who is she?
She's your mother. She's my mother. Akasha, the queen of all who are damned.
Lestat plays the violin really well. She's impressed, she wakes up, she lets him drink her blood. So basically he's now been chosen as like the new king. Then he says this.
No!
I don't think so, my little lord.
Let me go.
No, you've drunk the purest blood, seen the oldest of things. Far too much for one as young as you.
Her blood is like liquid fire. Who is she?
Eve chose the soul to have a kid with. That soul belonged to a monkey at the time, but it died and was reborn in her stomach. So basically she took this new king and gave it her blood, just like what this guy has done. Only in this film he's got the blood by drinking it, whereas in real life he would have got her blood by getting her pregnant, dying, and then being reborn as her son. You're saved through the blood of Christ. Now that this semi-evolved monkey with Christ's blood in it exists, he now had loads of kids, and this is how humans were transformed. In the Bible it also says that Satan is really good at music, and so basically this is the Satan character.
All the years I've cared for them, not once have they moved. Until tonight, and she chose me.
The monkey that God chose at the beginning to give it her blood.
Who is she?
She's your mother. She's my mother. Akasha, the queen of all who are damned. And he's her king.
I'm not too sure who the old king is. I didn't believe in the evil, vile god that the Christians love to worship. But at the same time, someone has put me under a sacrifice for 3.5 years. I didn't do this myself. So there must be a third person who's done this to me. And I will kill him. And I'm longing to punish anyone that was on his side.
Akasha and Enkel nearly drank this earth dry when they ruled over Egypt. They drank until Enkel lost his will to drink. Without her mate beside her, she also lost hers. They became living statues.
She has no respect for anything except for the taste of blood.
Human and immortal alike.
In the film, she starts off being like stone, which is how I feel, because everyone's ignored the mother. Everyone thinks that God is a male. They don't think that God could be someone like me, a muse. And yet if they met me, they wouldn't even think that I could be that. The average person would just look at me and look at other people and think, oh, you're no prettier than them. You're just an average girl, you're just bigging yourself up, just trying to make yourself feel better. Even my own sister thinks that about me. She just thinks that I'm saying that I'm a god because I want attention or something. If I was doing it to get attention, wouldn't I have given up by now? Because I haven't got any attention. The only attention that I've attracted is people wanting to insult me. Do you really think I'd be telling people that I'm a god, knowing that most likely they're just going to say I'm not and insult me or call me crazy or something like that? This is a massive statement, and I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't say something unless I was convinced it was real. It's hurtful when people say that I'm wrong because they're questioning my intelligence, they're questioning my sanity, Anyway, I've been insulted like this for 3.5 years. There's no one I can turn to. There's no one that wants to support me. It feels like everyone's just using me and turning their back on me. And it's made me feel really dry and hollow inside. And so because of that, I feel like I've turned into how the Queen of the Damned feels.
Humans are animals. Brute creatures. Their destruction can only make sense.
We found other ways to coexist.
Ah, yes, in silence. In shadows and shame, and for what? For respect of mortals. They are nothing to us. They are merely food.
In this film, the mortals are like the Christians. They're fooled because they're fooled into believing a book of nonsense that isn't always the truth and doesn't have any logic to it. They're blind, ignorant, know nothing, don't ask questions. They just insult me just because an old book insults me. They worship the thing that destroys me. The people who know about me wouldn't help me because they're too busy trying to make money out of me, thinking that they're helping God at the same time. They are promoting the female goddess, but they're not promoting the female goddess when the female goddess is actually lying on a bed, broke, with no money, and confused out her head as to why people aren't coming to talk to her about this. And so in this film, you've got the vampires that have power, they're not stupid, but all they've done is turn against their mother.
You think you can change my will? Enough of this discussion. Join me or die.
I will not. I will not.
I will not. I will not.
These are like the filmmakers, the producers, the people that are running the industries. They're not stupid, and I know you should give credit where credit is due. They're not followers. They don't just follow the crowd. They don't just believe what other people believe just because other people believe it. They're smart people. Only they're not willing to help me. They're not willing to show me any kind of support during this extreme suffering that I'm going through. They're not willing to show any understanding towards what I'm going through. Because if they did understand what I was going through, they wouldn't put me through it, but they are. They might be understanding behind closed doors, but I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors because not one person is saying anything to me. Then you've got the stupid dead Christians that are just like morons. In this film, they're kind of like represented by the humans. And she hates all of them, human and immortal alike, which is how I feel. I'm alone, I feel hurt like stone, yes. And I feel like there's no one like me, and there's no one willing to help me and be on my side. And it's horrible how my pain is just being blurted out in films. I don't like it, but I guess this is the only way I can prove who I am. I just don't know who's done this to me.
For the sake of your great family.
The world we know is about to end. The only way to prevent this is through Akasha's destruction. But how? When she opens herself to give blood, she's vulnerable.
Whoever takes the last of her blood will not survive it.
On the wall there is a family tree, which basically all stems from Akasha, which is the mother. She's like Eve. Only now her children are plotting against her, which is exactly what the story of Christ is. All the disciples turn against him and he suffers for the world's sins. In the film, they gang together and plot to destroy both her and Lestat. They try and destroy Lestat first because he wants to expose the vampires so that he no longer has to live in hiding.
Sent to space. He was here too long ago.
You like him, do you?
He reminds me of someone.
All he's going to remind you of soon is a pile and burn. We're going to dismember him, bleed him dry.
Yes. Is that what you're going to do?
I know why she did that. These people aren't showing her any respect. She's billions of years old, an ancient goddess, their mother, and yet they're telling her what they're going to do, rather than saying, we want to do this to him, can we do this? Instead of getting her permission to do something, they're just going to do it without her permission. And also she likes this guy. She's made up her mind that she's going to be on his side, and if these people are against him, then that means that she's against them too. And because she's a million times powerful than them, she's going to kill them. I can understand why she feels this way. It's just because she loves this guy and she realizes that these vampires don't have that same love that she has. They're kind of heartless. They're, smarter than the humans. They're stronger. They are independent and think well. But at the same time, they don't have the same ability to love that she does. And for this, she wants to kill them. Because these kind of vampires are against her. They've turned against her. They're not willing to support her on what she believes and what she thinks. They don't support her relationship. They try to attack her.
See, my children. Remember your real family. or join hers?
No. Give me my crown.
But in the film, things turn even worse for her because her partner also turns on her, which is what's happened to me. Satan, Martin Dodd, has rejected me and is not willing to help me, but rather has joined their team, not mine.
Vanity not this black stuff!
I feel like this is what the singers have been doing over the last 3 years, sucking off my life force and energy and inspiration and not willing to help me or not willing or caring about how I was feeling during this 3.5 years. But I do massage as a job and, well, yeah, I do talk to my clients about me being a god occasionally. And usually they just say, okay, all right, will you give me a hand job for 10 quid? You know, literally that's the kind of respect that people give me. Zilch. Of course, in this film, they portray her as being really evil, and in real life, I'm not really evil, I'm just really pissed off. But they kill her in this film, so I think they have to make her evil for that reason, and I guess it's true in real life that Aaliyah did die. But like she says,
You kill me. You kill yourself.
and it's true, if you destroy me, I'm going to destroy you because I'm going to expose what you've done against me. It's just a matter of time. The truth is, I'm not evil, you're the ones that are evil. And yes, this film is against the mother, but that's only because people are against the mother. If they knew that actually the mother was right, and that she has a genuine reason to hate people, only then can people be on her side. But you've had thousands of years to worship God the Mother, and you haven't, so she has no reason to forgive you anytime soon. There's something I also have to mention about this film, is that during this part, it looks like she actually wants him to kill her. It looks like she wants to die. It looks like she's got something up her sleeve.
Remember your real family, or join hers.
Something that not even the producers knew. And there is a truth. Throughout the whole film, you see this white girl.
I want you to show me what it's like.
What is like exactly?
To be like you.
I don't have time for this.
Right. The covens are coming for you. How are you going to spend what may be your last night on Earth, Lestat, as you always have? Alone?
Why not?
Why not share it with me?
All right. This may be painful for a mortal. You're still attached to your skin.
There seems to be some sort of love affection between her and Lestat. This queen seems to know everything, so seems to know about this. But she asked Lestat to kill her.
Do you love me?
Yes.
Then prove it. Kill her.
Oh, she's nothing to me.
Just the same. I'd like for you to kill her.
But then right at the end, he kind of brings her back to life. I would love to see a second part of Queen of the Damned Part 2, where the new story is actually that Lestat never actually turned against her, and he did generally kill her. That is, he generally killed the white girl and got the others to kill the old queen's body because he knew that the queen's soul was going to enter into this woman. So in the film, it looks like she knew what was about to happen. She knew she was about to die, and she deliberately asked him to kill her, knowing that her soul was going to enter into that body. And by getting a new body, it could be like a way of refreshing her soul, refreshing her powers, so that she can become even greater or something. That's not the story that was planned, but I reckon that's the hidden story. That should be what happens in the story. You know, if the body that she's in currently has been turned into stone for thousands of years, you know, it's probably not in very good shape. So the hidden story could be that she actually needed a new body. And this again is what's happened between me and Aaliyah. I was her, she's died, and she's now coming to me. This statue could also be symbolic of the next me. You know, I feel like I've been turned to stone. But then the beast is supposed to rise out of the bottomless pit. You know, it's the beast that was, that is, and that is still to come. So this could be the fourth me. Not only is there hidden messages in the film, but there's also hidden messages within the songs that are chosen to use for the films. Like, this is exactly how I feel. Walking, waiting, alone without a care.
Things that I can't bear.
Hoping, hating, things that I can't bear.
Did you think it's cool to walk right up and take my life back?
Do you think it was cool to walk right up and take my life and fuck it up? Well, did you? I see hell in your eyes, taken by surprise. Touching you makes me feel alive, touching you makes me die inside. It also goes on to say, I've slept so long without you, it's tearing me apart too. How did it get this far? Playing games with this old heart. I've killed 1,000,000 pretty souls, but I couldn't kill you. I've slept so long without you. This is kind of how I feel. I'm constantly thinking about Martin, constantly missing him, and it hurts me, and I don't think people can understand that.
You think it's smart. You're not. It's right to see it that you want me to fall off. It's killing me.
The lines of this next song go, you think you're smart, you're not. It's plain to see that you want me to follow. It's killing me. Let's see. You've got the ghoul? Come on, take it. Ghoul is actually supposed to mean girl. The writers were getting their inspiration from me, and I'm saying what this word should actually mean. Got the girl, as in you've got me. You, the people, have found me. And now it feels like you're trying to take my soul from me and make me hate you, make me like you. You want me to follow you, rather than you follow me.
The jury is coming to tear me apart.
The jury is coming to tear me apart. All this bitching and moaning, come on, it's on. This is what I feel like you've done to me. I feel like you're the one that's judging me, not the other way around. You know, you've been making songs and adverts, and you're trying to put your opinion on what I am into the songs that you've been making over the last 3 years. So you, in a sense, are the jury, and you are judging me. The great hall will be judged, the Bible says. This is what's happening, and I hate you for it, because most of you are wrong about what I'm like. And in this film, do you know why the vampires want to kill him? Why? Because he's supposed to be saying too much truth in his songs. Like, this song is supposed to be warning the public what's about to happen to him. He's saying to the public that these vampires are going to come and kill me. And the vampires are coming to kill him because he's saying lots of truth in the song. And it turns out that there is actually truth within the songs. Only the truth's not about him. It's about me, the goddess. The sacrifice that people say that they love when really they don't give a shit about. The song then goes on to say, I'm trapped in this world, lonely and fading, heartbroken and waiting for you to come. We're stuck in this world that's not meant for me. So what you got? One last shot, it seems, to me. That you're not needed, come on, it's killing me, let's see. You've got the ghoul. Brackets, you've got the girl. But this is how I feel. I feel like I've been imprisoned in this world, and I hate everyone who's imprisoned me here. Straight after this song, the beast rises from the bottomless pit to come and seek revenge on all the people that turned against her. This is what will happen when Martin comes to me. We'll join, just like here they've joined.
Akasha.
Why so surprised, my love? You called, I've come.
My love?
Never fear me, Lestat. All your wishes have come true.
My wishes.
For a companion, to share eternity.
I will do anything he wants so long as it doesn't involve pain. I'm not into sadomasochism or anything like that.
You're bold, like your music. You live your life in the open, like I did, long ago, when I had a king.
This could be referring to Michael Jackson, like the king of pop. I believe that Martin Dodd is Michael Jackson, just died, gone back time and reborn, just like I was, which would explain why Martin Dodd reminds me of Michael Jackson, because I do believe they're the same person. Only Martin has a different life, background, memory, family, ... Or it could be referring to a king that I had long ago, before I came to Earth, before I was Eve.
Had a king?
He's no more.
This probably would have been 1,000,000 years ago or so. Like, I believe that I've done this timeline many, many times before, perhaps even 70 or something like that. But I feel something's gone very wrong in this one because 3.5 years. It's not supposed to be 3.5 years. It's supposed to be like 1 year or something. I don't know what this is referring to, but I probably have done it before and I probably have had other partners, but either way, they're no more.
Now you are my consort. That's why I kept you safe. Alive.
You.
You thought it was all me. the ego of a king as well. Yes, I know that you crave to have the world at your feet, and I've come to give it to you.
Where are we?
We are home. We live everywhere and anywhere we choose. The world is our garden.
This is another random song that I found online.
My hands are searching for you. My arms are outstretched towards you. I feel you on my fingertips. My tongue dances behind my lips for you. A fire runs through my being, burning. I'm not used to seeing you. I'm alive. I'm alive. I can feel you all around me, thickening the air I'm breathing, holding on to what I'm feeling, savoring this heart that's healing.
She doesn't like the vampires that exist right now because she realizes that these vampires don't have that same love that she has. You know, they're kind of heartless. They're, okay, smarter than the humans. They are independent and think well, but at the same time they don't have the same ability to love that she does.
I will not. I will not.
I will not. I will not.
They don't support her relationship, they try to attack her, and for this she wants to kill them. This is what's happened to me because I've got loads of people who look like they're on my side, and these people are ignoring the fact that they're not working with me, they're just ignoring me, whilst thousands of other people who I try and talk to don't believe me and don't give a shit. And I'm out to seek revenge on everyone, because everyone has turned their back on God the Mother. How many churches are there in the world that are dedicated to God the Mother? How many religions are there that preach about God the Mother? How many people out there are there that wouldn't laugh or snigger at the thought that God could be a female? Every Christian I've tried to talk to about how I'm a Leah, the only thing that they can think to say is that I'm a selfish, attention-seeking whore that's only out to big up her ego. Even people that aren't Christian have said this to me. You say it's only words, but words hurt. Especially when it seems like thousands of people are doing it and all you're trying to do is expose the truth. If it were just one or two, I could ignore it, but it's not. It's everyone I try and talk to. And yet the people who are making films about me are just making money out of me and not giving me a penny, not helping me pay my bills or anything like this. So it's a horrible thing. I hate everyone. I hate the people that are trying to help me. I hate the people that aren't trying to help me. I hate the people that wouldn't believe me, which is just 99% of you. I want justice and my revenge on all of you. I've had a huge amount of persecution, and yet when I try and tell people this, they just tell me, oh no, you haven't had as much persecution as me or as much persecution as other people in this world, denying everything that I've gone through, not listening to anything that I say, not willing to even look at the evidence to prove that I've been through a hell of a lot. I'm fucking pissed off, and if this world wants to think that I'm evil, then I say good.
Step aside.
Never.
Join me or die.
I don't care about any of you, because you don't care about me. All Christians all over the world would gladly let Jesus suffer so that they can be let off their sins. And well, I'm the real Jesus. I don't want to pay the price for your mistakes. Anyone that wants me to pay the price for them, then, they're my enemies. I hate them. And I hope they watch this film and feel extremely frightened of me, because that's what they deserve.
All she wants is hell on earth.
How I see it is either I'm insane, or I'm mistaken, or I'm right. And to say that I'm wrong is like calling me insane. It's insulting and it's painful. How can you call yourself my friend when you'd question my insanity and intelligence if I told you the truth about who I really was? And the people that are not very nice, they would just think that I'm bigging myself up.
We must fight Akasha.
I am like a stone to them, which is what Aaliyah is at the beginning of the film. But then she meets this guy, she wakes up out of this coma that she's in. This is what I feel like Martin did to me. He woke me up.
Come out, wherever you are. I've come to give you the world.
I have a huge desire to be with him. This is part of my suffering, the fact that I'm not with him. And if you've ever gone through a heartbreak, you will know how I feel, but not that many of you really have. This is how she was turned to stone in the first place. She had a lover who died, but without a love interest, she now has no heart and turned to stone because she couldn't bear the thought of being alone. This is another interpretation of what I've gone through. I was Eve, but I was alone, and so I faded away. And in this life, this is what's happened. I really liked him and wanted to be with him, but when he didn't want to see me again, I just felt like my life had fallen apart and I could no longer live, and so I just turned into like a stone lying on a bed. This is exactly what's happened to me, how I feel. But throughout the whole film, there's also this white girl who's a human, who's curious and wants to study and find out the truth about vampires. That girl's like me because I want to find out the truth about the goddess, who the goddess really is. I know myself, but I don't know myself in spirit well enough. And I was trying to see all the connections to prove who I am, prove that I'm the goddess. The more I looked, the more I found. The problem is, the more I found, the less people seemed to care. Hence, the more angrier I became. I was also trying to find out more information about Martin and when he was going to come back to me. That was actually the main goal behind all my research. I just didn't realise that he wasn't going to come back to me for a very long time. Everyone was telling me lots of things, but no one was telling me this. Even though thousands of people all over the world do know the truth about when he's coming back to me. They did know that I was going to be ignored for 3.5 years because they've signed a contract with him to say that they'll ignore me for 3.5 years. Yet none of them told me that. Yet they didn't care. And I became even more heartbroken. Not just by him, but by everyone that got involved in my life, and yet wasn't willing to tell me the truth. Yet when Martin does come back to me, I'm going to make the truth very clear, not just to them, but to the whole world.
The start has joined with Akasha. It's lost to us now.
We are the powerful. We should walk fearless in the open.
I'm the queen of the damned because I'm queen of the people on earth, and the people on earth are damned because they're living in such a shithole. And they're full of corruption, perversions, lust, the need to sleep with strangers and things like this. Most of you are like animals. I'm going to talk about lots of different films, and I'm going to talk about them in order of the ones that are most relevant to my story. The next one on my list is King Kong. In some of the older versions, they definitely describe the blonde woman as being like the bride of Kong, the woman that sacrificed to Kong for his pleasure so that they can be in peace with this Kong. This is the true story of Adam and Eve. Adam was just a monkey, or a semi-evolved monkey, and Eve was a human with skin just like ours. Right at the beginning of the film, they actually have this woman picking up an apple and getting caught, and the producer kind of saving her by paying for the apple.
Hey, you gotta pay for this. Excuse me. Ma'am, I think you dropped this.
But it's weird, because the Bible talks about Eve being with the apple. And so it's almost like there's a hidden author behind the story that's pointing at the fact that this girl is actually Eve. This girl has a sort of failing career.
Hey, open up! We work here!
Nothing more, lady.
It's all right for you. We haven't had a paycheck in 2 weeks. How are we gonna eat? They're not getting away with this.
They just did. Anne, it's no use. The show, it's over. It's done. I'm done. I'm leaving, Annie.
Her name's Anne, and my name's Anna, and this bit's a little bit like the old age is being closed up. Perhaps the old God the Father's gonna die. She's kind of had a cursed life, a bit like mine.
Ever since you were small, people been letting you down. You gotta think of yourself now. You should try out for that part.
She's a failing actress. This is like me. I've been trying to become a singer for ages, and it just wasn't working.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Every time you reach out for something you care about, fate comes along and snatches it away. But not this time, Annie.
When I met Martin, it felt like this scene had just been played out. He was leaving, I was never going to see him again, but he kind of gave me some hope that something good could happen, and, well, it was all just lies, because he never was going to help me. He was just going to walk off and let me deal with it myself. And then when I found out that I was the Christ, it felt like this scene was being played out, only the producers were the producers of this film.
We have 3 hours to find a new leading lady, or we're finished.
This is like my 3 years of suffering where producers, lots of them, just pick on me and use me as some sort of sacrifice.
Somewhere out there is a woman born to play this role. A woman who will journey into the heart of the unknown.
The journey into the heart of the earth. This is the Christ.
Towards a fateful meeting that changes everything.
This is the meeting between the mother and the father. Only the producers who get her to go on this journey get her to do it by lying to her, deceiving her. They don't want to hurt her, but they lie to her about how dangerous this journey actually is. When I found out that I was God, I felt like this scene was being played out.
I want you to know that I'm not in the habit of accepting charity from strangers. Or, for that matter, taking things that don't belong to me.
It's obviously a terrible misunderstanding.
It's just that I haven't been paid in a while.
That's awful. Anyway, Anne, may I call you in?
I was on the dole for a long time and didn't have that much money. But like this guy, people didn't really care.
You wouldn't happen to be a size 4 by any chance? No. Oh God, no, you've got me all wrong. Miss Darrow, please. I'm not that type of person at all.
Martin Dodd did ask me loads of questions about whether or not I would do nude modelling or things like this. And every time I try and set up sessions with photographers, they do ask me if I want to take my clothes off. This is pretty much what's on most people's minds. But then she walks away and he calls her God.
No. Oh God, no.
And likewise, I don't do underwear modelling or anything like that. Only tasteful outfits.
What type of person are you?
I'm someone you can trust, Anne. I'm a movie producer. Believe me, I am on the level. No funny business. Please sit down. Anne, I want you to imagine a handsome explorer bound for the Far East.
You're filming in the Far East?
Singapore. On board ship, he meets a mysterious girl. She's beautiful. She's fragile, haunted. And she can't escape the feeling that forces beyond her control are compelling her down a road from which she cannot draw back. It's as if her whole life has been a prelude to this moment. This fateful meeting that changes everything. And sure enough, against her better judgment,
She falls in love,
yes,
but she doesn't trust it. She's not even sure if she believes in love.
really?
If she loves someone, it's doomed.
Why is that?
Good things never last, Mr. Denham.
To me, it feels like the producer in this film, the actor, he's kind of representing what the producers of this film are doing to me. It felt like they were giving me false hope and telling me that something good is about to happen. That I was about to go on an adventure, one that can change my life forever.
A place that was thought to exist only in myth.
Wall! There's a wall ahead!
Until now. That's where I'm gonna shoot my picture.
You're feeling uneasy, Anne. The feeling's growing. It's washing over you. Scream, Anne! Scream for your life!
When I found out that I was God, I felt like this scene was being played out. This is like my 3 years of suffering where producers, lots of them, just pick on me.
Herb, get the camera.
They're taking in! Miss Darrow! Behind the wall!
Because nothing good was going to happen to me. I was just going to be used as a sacrifice, like this woman is being used as a sacrifice, suffering, being forced to scream. And while she's suffering, having people just be like, oh no, we need to put the film first. The team do try and save her, of course, but not everyone's heart is in it. The film producer is only really out to make a good film.
Herb, get the camera.
I'm not saying that the people that made this film feel this way, but I'm sure there's many people that do feel this way when they found out the female goddess is here,
So you're interested. Good. That's settled then. Now, I don't want to rush you, but we are under some time pressure.
Well, I really...
Anne, I'm telling you. You're perfect. Look at you. You're the saddest girl I've ever met. You're going to make them weep, Anne. You're going to break their hearts.
It's amazing how accurate that is, all will weep when they realise what kind of suffering I've been through in the last few years. The Bible says that people will mourn and cry over the destruction of Babylon. They will stand back in the sight of her smoke. But Anne in the film feels exactly the same way that I felt 3 years ago. Like it wasn't going to happen, like nothing bad was going to happen to me.
See, that's where you're wrong, Mr. Denham. I make people laugh, that's what I do. Good luck with your picture.
I was more of a comedian, I preferred to be happy and make jokes rather than just go through suffering and have to yell at people for how horrible they are.
Please, I'm offering you money. Adventure, fame, the thrill of a lifetime, and a long sea voyage. You want to read a script? Jack Driscoll's turning in a draft as we speak.
Jack Driscoll?
Also, Jack is supposed to be another name for the devil. You've also got Michael Jackson. So the film's saying that she got interested because Jack's involved. And well, Jack could be a reference to Jackson, Michael Jackson, who is my partner. Also, the male in the Titanic character is also called Jack. Anyway, in the film, these producers convince this woman to go on a really dangerous journey to an island that's kind of banned. Yet they don't actually tell her where she's actually going. Just in the same way that the people that were spying on me weren't telling me what was about to happen to me.
Carl, you can't do this. Tell them the studio pressured us into an early departure. It's not ethical.
What are they gonna do, sue me? Huh? They can get in line. I'm not gonna let them kill my film.
They didn't care about what I was going through. They only really cared about getting their films more promotion, being like, wow, we were predicting something. Or with the songs, wow, we wrote a song that was about her. We connected to the goddess. They weren't actually thinking about what it was that I was going through. And what I'm still going through every day for 3 years.
What took her, Carl?
A major scene in the film is also this battle between the dinosaurs and the gorilla. This to me feels like the battle between the stupid humans, the Christians, and the people that are a little bit more smarter, but still pretty heartless. In Queen of the Damned, it was the mortals versus the vampires, and in this one, it's kind of like the Jurassic people, the lizard people versus the monkey people. Both are still animals, but one slightly better. The next film I'm going to talk about is Dr. Parnassus. I want to talk about this third in my list because Heath Ledger is my favourite male actor, and he also died in the middle of this film, so that has to mean something. I didn't see this film before I found out that I was a god, but after I found out that I was the Messiah, because of my name connections, it made sense to watch this film just because it probably had some significance because my favourite actor died during the middle of it. But it was scary watching it because it felt like this was massive messages being sent to me by someone afar.
1,000 years ago, Dr. Parnassus made a deal with the devil.
Stop!
To gain immortality.
It's been a while.
But this came with a price.
Any child born at the age of 16 belonged to him.
This could be like the deal that I've made in the sense that I'll be the sacrifice and the humans get to live and have their inspiration and stuff. The thing is, I didn't actually make the deal. It could have been me in my past life, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Can you put a price on your dreams?
None of that will stop Ariel from trading away her voice for a pair of legs and a 72-hour time limit to French a Stranger.
He is quite a catch, isn't he?
The second thing this could be talking about is the deal that Martin made. The deal that says, okay, ignore me for 3.5 years, and then deal with the consequence after. Only I'm the one that's had to pay the price. And likewise, in this film, the person that has to pay the price is the daughter. It says that on her 16th birthday, she must lose her life. I woke up when I was 26, and so I feel like I lost my life when I was 26. Because I couldn't continue being the person that I was before, because I was just a masseuse. I had nothing interesting in my life and I had to give everything up so I can try and focus on my future as a messiah and proving it to people. I just didn't realise I was going to be ignored for 3.5 years. And I didn't realise that people just wouldn't care about the messiah, wouldn't want the goddess, or proof that there is a god. Perhaps even two gods, me and the one who destroys me. I thought that we were the same person at the beginning because I would put myself through suffering so that I can help others. The thing is, I didn't realise that I was going to go through as much suffering as I've been through. And so I really don't think that it is me now because I wouldn't put myself through this. I wouldn't put myself in the position of being a masseuse and having slimy guys call me up every day and ask me for sexual favours and things like this. And having to do this whilst thousands of people know who I am, whilst having my soul ripped out, whilst feeling paralysed. And then to just go through 3.5 years of having people not give a shit or not believe what I'm going through is real. I wouldn't put myself through this much suffering. It's not worth it. You're not worth it. Whoever's put me in this position, it's the work of some evil dickhead that deserves to have his dick ripped out. At the beginning, I thought people were worth this, but no, this is way, way, way too much. You're not worth this. And if I believe that you're not worth it, then why would I put myself through this? I wouldn't. Someone else has done this to me. And I'm looking at the evidence in old videos and films made before 2013. And the old films do seem to indicate that there is something else that's doing this to me. I know in Queen of the Damned it was actually Aaliyah who was responsible for getting the stat to kill the white girl. But being killed through a sort of fairly quick, painless death, that's not that bad. Going through a small amount of suffering, that's something that I would put myself through. I would kill myself so that I can be reborn as a white girl, so that people all around the world can realise that there's no difference between black people and white people. Yes, that's definitely what I would do. I would have no problem killing Aaliyah so that I can be reborn as white and prove that we're the same inside, although we've had different upbringings. Would I put myself through suffering so that lots of films can be inspired? Yes. I love films, so of course I would do this. But would I put myself through so much suffering that I now hate everyone and hate the world and just want to die, and then have to spend 3 years just lying on a bed feeling paralyzed, thinking night and day about how much I want to help the world, how much I want to work with people and change the world for the better, only every day just being disappointed because not one person is trying to help me or not one person is showing that they care or want to work with me. You know, I wouldn't put myself through that. This is torture. That's not something that I would do. That's not cool. Before I wanted to help the world and do good. Now I don't. I just want to die. You know, how can I help the world when I despise the world? To suffer for others is one thing, but to suffer this much? I wouldn't do this to myself, so who did? In Queen of the Damned, Aaliyah, the queen goddess, let the other vampires kill her. But it felt like she didn't do that out of choice. It felt like she did it because she had no other choice. So the question is, why would such a powerful god not have any other choice but to let people hurt and kill her? If you look at the evidence in the film Dr. Panuskas, in this film the father sacrificed his own daughter. The daughter doesn't sacrifice herself. This points to the fact that I didn't do this to myself. I know that it's true that Martin has sacrificed me, but would he really put me through this? I don't know him that well, but I don't think he's this sick to put me through this much. It's one thing to get a whole group of people to just ignore me for 3.5 years, but it's another thing to actually be the one that makes the dates and says, okay, it'll be 3.5 years. Although I do believe that he was the one that wrote Revelation, and well, the 1260-day information is actually in Revelation. I mean, it says that the sacrifice will last this long in the Revelation, and so maybe he did decide the 1260 days, only when he wrote the book he believed that he was getting the information from somewhere else, like a god or an angel or somewhere like that. I know there's a lot of people that worship Baal, which is the god of human sacrifice, so maybe there is a third god, an evil male that everyone's worshipping, the Christian god, the thing that I don't believe in. You know, maybe this is a real thing. Either way, I have proof that someone's watching every hour of my life, that they know that I've gone through way more than I can handle. Would Martin really put me through this? Or is it something else?
Get swept up in a fantastical romance where love conquers all. If by love you mean acting like a clueless mute brat so an older guy will make out with you. With an equally vintage message for today's young girls. Look pretty.
You gotta look your best.
You look wonderful.
But without my voice, how can I?
You don't have your looks.
Surround yourself with friends who are dumber and fatter than you. Abandon your family to marry a guy you just met.
See, my children, remember your real family. Join me or die.
I will not. I will not. I will not.
I will not.
And if you're not happy with the contract you signed without even reading, get your fiancé to murder the person who outsmarted you.
I say I don't believe in the devil or the Christian God, but at the same time I say that mostly because I think believing in it makes it more real, and I don't want to do that. But if millions of people do believe in the God that likes to kill lots of people, then perhaps they've created this monster by believing in it and giving it its power. Like I believe I'm the Queen of the Damned character, but I don't believe that I'm the Ursula character from Disney's Little Mermaid.
Ursula.
The sea witch?
No, she's a demon!
An old witch who keeps the tortured souls of her victims in her front yard, eats seafood, and hates Ariel's whole family.
The Ursula character is just way too much for me. It's one thing to kill people, but it's another thing to have a hallway full of little slimy people that have been turned into slime balls or something. Plus I'm allergic to shellfish. Prawns and crabs, things like that. In Little Mermaid, there's also a scene where Ariel actually saves a crab from being eaten. I think things happen for a reason, and this video is actually called The Honest Trailers on YouTube. It was really funny, so I thought I'd download it. But I think it's mentioned this for a reason. Ursula hates Ariel's family, just like the God of the Bible says he hates Babylon's children and will persecute Babylon's children. You know, there's a part that actually says that he'll crush the heads of Babylon's children together.
Murder, genocide, animal and human sacrifices, torture, child abuse, animal abuse, theft, slavery, pedophilia, rape, incest, cannibalism, betrayal, lying. Is this the kind of God you worship?
It's almost certainly true, right? I mean, he unleashed 10 plagues on Egypt. He killed, through God, the firstborn of every person in Egypt, including the Pharaoh. You think they wouldn't call him a terrorist? Of course they would, right?
Is this your God? Because he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. At midnight, Jehovah struck down all the firstborn of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on the throne to the firstborn of the prisoners who were in the dungeons. Think about the horror, friends. These were the first-born children, many of them babies and small infants. What has happened to your mind, friends, when you can read these kinds of verses and just assume that it's all right? This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. Each man strap a sword to his side. Go back and forth through the camp, from one to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor. The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people died.
That's the sort of thing that Ursula would want to say. And it also clearly proves that the Christians are not on Ariel's side, they're not on the good person's side, they're on the murderer's side. Anyway, going back to talking about Dr. Parnassus.
Now, a mysterious outsider
Can you put a price on your dreams?
will take the traveling show beyond their imaginations.
The extraordinary Dr. Parnassus. What are you doing? Trying to save your daughter's life, sir?
You can save her.
I love this film so much just because in this spirit realm that they enter into, it really reminds me of what I believe heaven is to be like. Like I believe when you go into this heaven, you get judged on how nice a person you are. The bad ones come back to earth and have to have another life on earth. And the good ones just get to live in a sort of nice paradise for a while. The people that made it to the nice paradise were people like Princess Diana, Whitney Houston, Keith Ledger, because he's like my favourite actor, Robin Williams, and people like that.
What would you say to have your way? Would you give up or try again? If I hesitate to let you in, now would you be yourself or play a role?
Nothing's permanent, not even death.
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
If I say no, would you turn away or play me off? Or would you stay up? You don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again.
The next film that I want to talk about is End of Days. I bring this one up just because there are so many connections in this. They agree with me that Lucifer has many names.
Some call him Lucifer. Yet he is known by many names.
King Kong, Jack, Martin, Santa Claus, Angel from Buffy, Cole from Charmed, Lestat.
Many disguises.
God the Father, Adam, who's a human, not a monkey, an angel of light.
But only one number.
That number just means live beyond 60. But yeah, hopefully he will.
1,000 years, you have awaited my return.
Anyway, in the film, there's this girl who's chosen.
Take it easy. We're the good guys.
They tried to kill me. Why?
She's been chosen.
Chosen for what?
Chosen to be like Lucifer's sacrifice. That's me.
If the Dark Angel consummates your flesh with this human body, then he unlocks the gate of hell.
The consummation is talked about in the Bible, and it's described as like the midpoint of the 7-year tribulation. Babylon will suffer for 3.5 years, then there'll be a consummation, which is when the mother and the father join, and then afterwards the gates of hell will be opened and the rest of the world will suffer. This is true, the rest of the world will suffer because everyone has been against the real Christ, which is the mother, Babylon the Great, she's called in the Bible, or also known as Israel, Jerusalem, Eve, Mary, she has many names too. But people haven't been worshipping her, and instead they've been worshipping the thing that destroys the mother. And when people realise that they're all worshipping like a backwards religion, they're worshipping the devil rather than the saviour, well, that or money. A lot of people don't even believe in God, but the ones that do are worshipping the devil. But when people find this out, people won't want to accept it. Right now, when I try and tell people that the God of the Bible is actually just the devil, no one cares. No one wants to care. No one cares about me. No one cares about what I'm going through. But there are quite a lot of crazy religious people, and these people are horrible, nasty people, and they're not going to want to accept the fact that they're worshipping the devil rather than the mother and her chosen king. And they might cause a massive scene when this news is exposed, and I'm hoping that they will, because then all the people that don't care about me might start taking an interest because they'll see the big commotion that I've caused and they'll get involved. And hopefully there'll be a big shift, a big change, so instead of people worshipping the murderer, the Ursula that hates everyone and just wants to turn people into slime balls, instead of worshipping that, they're going to turn to the truth, which is that reality is hard. Okay, I don't like you. The real Messiah doesn't like you, and I do want you to suffer in the same way that I've suffered, but I'm not as foul as the thing that did this to me. I'm not as foul as the thing that's talked about in the Bible. I've got 2 dwarf hamsters, and I'm trying to get them to have a family. But every time I put them together, this is how they react. And this clip's not speeded up. I believe I'm a spiritual influence, and so is Martin, because you're made in our image. But it feels like there's a third influence on top of this. Something which is vile and disgusting and just wants to attack.
The Dark Angel is loose!
How can you expect to defeat me when I am forever and you are just a man?
Prepare for the end of days.
And the evidence lies in showing things like this. Have you ever seen something like this and asked, why does this happen? Also, why is it mostly males that do this, whereas females tend to hide? You know, right now, whatever it is that is causing the male to be like this, the world is on his side and not on my side. It's a spiritual battle between the evil male and the better female. But hopefully when people get smarter and wake up, they'll change. I would also like to see veils being removed from other religions. Because again, to me, that's just a sign that you're on the male side, not on my side. The creepiest thing with the film The End of Days, it starts off like this.
Dell'occhio del Signore, la bambina ne sarà oggi.
A priest is talking to the Pope about a chosen female and the fact that this woman's now been born. The Pope then sends people out to all the places of the world. This is what he's been doing in the last few years. The Pope in this film wants to find her, I guess to help her or protect her, but the priests that he's working with say that, oh, she must be killed. And
she must be killed!
This is kind of like what the religion in general is about. Okay, yes, the religion has got Mary worship, but the majority of Christian worship is the rejection of the female goddess and the worship of Baal that causes the female to suffer. The priest wants to sacrifice her, but he says that if we do, then we're not going to be redeemed. The catch is, you do sacrifice me because you do ignore me.
She was chosen to bear his child. If she lives to bring about the end of days, there will be no redemption. All our souls will perish.
Anyway, in the film, people do try and sacrifice her. She doesn't actually die, but she would have gone through a lot of suffering, and this is what's happened to me. The Pope says this. And yet she does go through a lot of suffering. So it's like you're saying you know that you're not going to be redeemed, because I'm not going to be very happy about what you've done to me. But I guess the good thing about this is that you can actually look at your Bible now and see the truth about what it is. You know, it's all about sacrificing of the innocent. And now that the innocent is here, you can be like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't be worshipping this crap.
No! Father! Father, the ones are trying to kill me!
What are you doing? You cannot allow this union to take place.
They want to kill this girl because they want to stop the consummation between the mother and the father getting together.
Everyone is trying to kill us. I just shot 2 cops. Why is everyone after you?
I don't know. I swear I don't know.
But the truth about what's happening is that they can't tell the difference between what's good and what's bad. I mean, come on, 2 people having sex is not a bad thing.
I've been making love to him my whole life. I thought I was crazy, but he was never real before tonight.
He's real. I've seen him before.
I'm afraid.
I'm afraid. I won't let him do any harm to you.
I'm afraid of me. I'm afraid that if I see him, if he tries to take me, I'm going to want him too.
What happens at the beginning of the film is that Satan enters into this guy, which is kind of what the Bible says, you know, that Judah was possessed by Satan. I have always had like an imaginary boyfriend, I guess. And when I met Martin, I felt like he was the imaginary boyfriend that I'd kind of been thinking about. And I felt like a really strong attraction to him right from the beginning, just like this blonde woman was attracted to this guy.
What the hell are you? I'm afraid that if I see him, if he tries to take me, I'm going to want him too.
But they think it's a bad thing. They think that it's the consummation and the child that they have that's going to cause the world to perish and to suffer, but it's not.
She's been chosen. She's in her blood. The Holy Church has been searching for you since the day you were born.
Chosen for what?
Every 1,000 years on the eve of the millennium, the dark angel comes and takes her body, and then he walks the earth looking for a woman who will bear his child. It all has to happen in that unholy hour before midnight on New Year's Eve.
You must let us finish. If she is slain, his hope of creating a kingdom on earth dies with her. Her death is God's will.
It's not God's will, it's your will, and it'll lead to our destruction.
She must be removed. It's the only way to defeat him. For 1,000 years, we prepared ourselves for this. We're not afraid to die.
What's actually going to cause the world to suffer is the fact that these people want to stop these two lovers from having sex or from getting together and having a family. You know, they're messed up in the head. They mistake good for bad and bad for good. They think that separating these two is a good thing, but they don't actually know this Satan guy. They don't actually know who this woman is. You know, they're not trying to get to know these people. They're just trying to sacrifice them so that they can be saved. But by sacrificing them, they're actually destroying the real Christ and hurting the real Father, whilst worshipping something that just doesn't exist, or if it does exist, it's evil and disgusting. In this film, Satan is being a bad guy because he kills people and stuff, but at the same time, he also seems to only kill bad people.
God help us. We're too late.
I've come for my wife. Let's go. This is the house of the Lord our God, and you are not welcome here. I can stand the pain of being in church. How much pain can you bear? Christine, come to me.
I don't know who's forced me into this 3.5-year sacrifice, but I know it's part of your Bible.
There's only one life. How many lives are you prepared to end if we do nothing? That's not who we are. Of course it is. We are doing God's work. We are preventing the end of days. But you can't prevent evil by doing evil. There's no time. No. The only way. No. May God forgive us!
And huge amount of people worship the Bible. And so it kind of feels like perhaps it's an evil, vile God, or perhaps it's just humans and their sick nature wanting to persecute me. Their sick nature being like these people here. Not all priests are bad, I know that. But a lot of them are. And a lot of them only want to worship God so that they can get into heaven, so that they can use the power of God and pretend to be holy and righteous when really they're not. Because really their Bible, you know, is all about suffering and persecution of lots of people, and they think that if they can be on God's side and preach this word of hatred and horror, you know, they feel like they can be on God's side and use God's power. Not all are like this, I know, but a lot of preachers are the worst kind of people. And a lot of people that go to church, you know, only do so they can get rewarded. But they don't realize that their whole Bible is about the sacrifice of an innocent. And by believing in it, they give it power, and they say, I want this to happen. I want this other person to pay the price for my mistakes.
He consummates your flesh with this human body, then he unlocks the gate of hell, and everything as we know it ceases to exist. I think it was a mistake to come here. It doesn't matter whether you believe or not, he's real, and he won't rest till he finds this girl.
Why do you pick me?
Because the stars were right and you were wrong. A man's body was also chosen, just like yours. If the devil does exist, why doesn't your God do anything? It's not my God, it's our God, and he doesn't say that he will save us. He says that we will save ourselves.
You save yourselves by sacrificing Christ. Really, would God say that? True, it happens, but she won't be very happy at it.
She's a guy.